book, How to Change a Life, is the 10th foodie novel from author Stacey Baylis. It is a humorous and heartfelt story about three old friends who make a pact to complete a life makeover before they turn 40.
I'm in on this. Stacey joins us now on the yellow couch, and not only do you get a great story with her books, but you get some recipes too, so people get a double whammy.
That.
Good to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah.
I love that you share recipes. That's one thing on the show, isn't it true? If we share a recipe,
People love it.
People are totally into it.
Absolutely. Well, you know, food is sort of a driving force in the narrative of all of my books. And I realized that if you're going to write about really delicious food, you better put the recipes in the back, or otherwise you're going to get a lot of angry emails.
Yep.
Exactly.
Or just a lot of emails in general, right? Give me that recipe. You're going to have to be tending to it.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about this kind of age makeover and what this means to live your best life at any age.
Well, I think for me, I find a lot, particularly for women, that there's a sense of waiting for something important to happen before you really launch yourself.
Yes.
You want to be a certain weight. You want to find the right guy. You want to find the right job. And ultimately, I think, you know, eat off the good china, you know, drink champagne on Tuesdays. Like, nothing is promised you.
Yeah.
So I try to write books that promote that as an ideal, that really the only thing that separates you from your best life is you, and everything else will come. So that was sort of where this book started.
I love it because I do feel like, and we talk about this, being present in the right now. If you're waiting for something to happen, waiting to get married, waiting to find the right guy, waiting to maybe have kids, waiting to be that perfect weight, then you're in waiting. You're not present when you should be. And all we have is the right now. So you say we can live our best life at any age. And speaking of waiting, I'm waiting for a big birthday. I'm going to be turning 40.
Congratulations.
Yeah, right. She's kidding.
Come on. Yeah,
She's celebrating her 10th anniversary of being 40.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I don't like that waiting for a big birthday, and I think that's true, that we hit those milestones and we sort of dread it, and that's not healthy either.
I don't know. I like birthdays. Birthdays mean cake and presents, and big birthdays mean more cake and better presents, so I'm all about aging. And I do think if you are focused on living and being present and being in the moment and living as best you can, that then birthdays don't become scary milestones, they become achievements. And that really is important to me, and I do try to promote that in all of my books.
Social media plays a role kind of in this book, or in experiences you've had connecting with your past and things like that. How does this come about in the book?
Well, I think, you know, the genesis of this book is that I lived all the way through college and grad school without the internet. So if you want,
and you survived.
And I survived. I survived. I'm delighted because there's a lot of stuff that is not documented, which I'm lucky about. But for me, what I'm finding now that I'm middle-aged is I have people from my past that are finding me on Facebook and social media and are returning to my life. And mostly that is wonderful and special and added value. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes someone returns from the past and you're like, if I met you at a party today, I would actively avoid you for the rest of my life. And that idea of whether the friends of your youth can or should be the friends of your middle age is interesting to me.
Yeah.
And
I think that's fascinating.
That's where the book started.
I love that. So in your book, what happens? It's three friends, right?
So there's the main character, Eloise, is living a very small, contented life. She has a job she loves, she has her little house, she has her dog, she has her mom and her aunt nearby, she has a great girlfriend, and she's fine. And then she gets unexpectedly reconnected with her two best friends from high school, and they make sort of a semi-drunken bucket list kind of bet of stuff that they want to do to improve their lives before they all turn 40. And it explodes her quiet little life in some really interesting ways, and in some ways that are great and move her life forward, and in some ways that are not so great that make her question whether she really should be connected to these two women that she hasn't seen or spoken to in like 15 years.
Love it.
I like that
so exciting. Talk a little bit about your book signing that's coming up, because this is sort of a cool event.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So tonight at 7 p.m. I'll be at Boswell Book Company here in Milwaukee. I'm going to be in conversation with Amy Reichert, who's a local author.
She was on the show here.
She's been on the show. She loves it. And she also does this sort of culinary fiction, foodie fiction that they talk about. She's got great books, and she and I have done events before. And so we are just going to talk to each other about books and food and fun, and talk about some of our favorite places to eat in Milwaukee, which is one of my favorite cities to visit. So tonight, 7 o'clock at Boswell Book Company. We'd love to have a great turnout.
Real quick before we go, where are the recipes from? that you use in your book?
Oh, so most of the recipes are mine. I developed them. I will acknowledge them, but there's a Milwaukee recipe in this book. So I came a few years ago and ate at a restaurant called Palomino, which if you haven't eaten it, is fantastic. And all the food was great, but the chocolate cream pie like changed my life.
I get that. Chocolate has the power to do that.
I needed that recipe like it was my job.
Yeah.
And I contacted Valerie Lux, who it's her place.
And she gave it to you.
And I said, here's the deal. Not only do I want this recipe, I want to actually put it in the new novel and publish it so that my readers can have it. Would that be okay? And she was so generous. She said, absolutely. So in the book, the character talks about making a trip here to Milwaukee and having this amazing chocolate cream pie and getting the recipe. And the recipe is in the back of the book.
I need that
reason
recipe
to go to Boswell itself, right? So tonight at 7 o'clock, Boswell Book Company on Downer. StaceyBayliss.com is the website for more. It's BALLIS.